I've been a flight attendant for 38 years, so the life of a flight attendant has drastically changed over the 38 years. The truth is, and particularly today, there's not much glamour in it. We're trying to keep an operation going 24 hours, 7 days a week. There's a lot of shift work in it. Quite often the airports are closed. There's no place to eat. There's certainly no comfortable place in a lot of these airports to rest. So it's playing havoc with their physical well-being, their family life. The other difficulty for junior flight attendants is they're often they'll be on reserve for years, and that means you're on call. At beck and call for the company whenever they need you. The starting wages for flight attendants right now is under $20,000 a year. So this makes it necessary for flight attendants to try to get overtime, or a lot of them are trying to have another job just so that they can survive. When you're on the ground, when the flight's turning around, you're unpaid. When you're sitting in an airport, you are essentially unpaid. When Air Canada filed for bankruptcy protection, of course, everybody wants to save their job. But collective bargaining was pretty much pushed out the window. It was trumped by bankruptcy protection. And the employees at Air Canada took in excess of 13.5% in wage rollbacks and working condition rollbacks. Soon after everything was reorganized, we'd signed our contracts, we noticed that the CEO at the time rewarded himself with huge bonuses, which I believe were in excess of $14 million. So he rewarded himself for saving us from bankruptcy protection with these huge increases. Now, recently, this year, our contract came up. Just before our contract came up, the company was enjoying a time of renewed success, and we thought we would, be compensated fairly for contributing to saving the airline and bringing it back to profitability. Our bargaining committee, they came back with the best deal that they thought they could manage, and the flight attendants they just said no. It's not right. CEO, they're getting these big bonuses. We see the airline's doing well. We deserve more than 2%. And it's not just 2%. It's also working conditions that we lost. We want our working conditions improved. I believe social media played a big part in the rejection of our collective agreement. People seem to have a lot of confidence when they're just clicking away at a keyboard, and it's the new way of, the new labor force communicating with each other. It got a lot of people involved in voting, that's for sure, and discussing their issues and what their issues were. Certainly Facebook, it mobilized people. YouTube is a great way of getting your point across these days. People seem to like to be entertained, and people will talk about, a great YouTube segment that they saw, and that'll go on Facebook, and people will watch it. And people have been very clever in getting their message across on YouTube. Unions have to reinvent their way of communicating with people, that's for sure.
It's not often the federal government pulls off something like this. Today, the Labour Minister deployed a rare measure intended to quash an impending strike by Air Canada flight attendants.
I think people knew we'd probably be legislated back to work, but we thought we would at least be able to get out there and, demonstrate and be on strike for a few days. And then to our horror, the Minister of Labor decided, you're not even going to hit the bricks. I'm going to refer your situation to the CIRB, and they're going to determine that whether, if flight attendants go out on strike, if that's going to pose a health and safety concern to the country, which is absolutely absurd.
Once you refer this to the Canadian Board of Industrial Relations, that suspends the right to strike. So fundamentally, that takes away that option for CUPE workers, the 6 to 800 flight attendants, correct?
Yep, that's a tool that's in the code, and what it's meant to do is before there's a work stoppage, just to make sure that the work stoppage is not going to affect the health and safety of the public. And that's what the CIRB will take a look at after hearing from the parties involved, and they'll consider the matters, I'm sure, and come to a decision. But that is the first step.
You've never done this before. This is unprecedented, right?
Haven't had the need to in order to do it before.
I believe that if the Ministry of Labor continues to manipulate the system by irresponsibly ordering people back to work, and now she seems to have figured out a way to even prevent strikes in Canada, that this will send a message to business that their employees won't have the power to strike. It's not going to cause them any problems. So why not try to strip them of everything we can? So essentially, the Ministry of Labor is taking away the rights of unionized employees to collective bargaining. We saw them force back the postal workers, and then they wouldn't even let us go out on strike. So what next? What other rights in this country are going to be taken away from people?